everybody. Welcome to my first solo trip of the season. It's definitely been a very long winter. I've really been looking forward to getting out and finally getting on to my first solo trip of the season. So my first solo trip this year is a Hipcamp, and it is called Sujo Fun Farm. It is just at the edge of a township called Minto, just about maybe 10 minutes outside of Harriston. It's a good sized farm. It has some rescue animals, so there's some donkeys in behind me here. I don't know if you can see them or not, but lots of trees, some fields, so I'll be doing some hiking back in through the woods when the weather is better. Right now is the first day. I took my time coming up because the weather is not the best today. The rain has stopped, but the winds are crazy high. These people the owners were very nice to offer me their cabin. They have a cabin on their property. I have the whole place to myself. They have 2 campsites and 1 cabin. So they offered that I could stay in this cabin while the weather is not the greatest. So it's keeping me out of the wind rather than camping in my car. Once I arrived, the owner came out and met me and showed me where my campsite was. This campsite, this Hipcamp, is very unusual because they actually have an old trailer that sits next to the first campsite that I booked, up towards the front, and it actually has a kitchen so I can do my dishes, and it actually has a full washroom as well. So this is really unusual for Hipcamp, so this is going to be a nice change. So I didn't have to pack the shower tent or the retractable toilet, anything like that. Gave me a little bit more room in my car, which was good. And then from there, he walked me back to the back of the property where the cabin is. So you can see what the view is like. Big windows in this cabin that overlook the back portion of the property. Fenced in here where there are a couple of rescue donkeys. And then off to the other side, there is a very large pond that has some swans in it and a couple of French bulldogs, but I haven't seen those yet. They're back in the house. So I'm looking forward to better weather because right now is not the best day. It's cold, it's very, very windy. So they've been very kind to allow me to stay in the cabin for right now. I will later on go back out to my car, sleep in my car, and then tomorrow morning, the weather's supposed to be much better, so tomorrow morning I'll move my car back up to the front where my campsite is, and then I will actually set up my campsite, and that's where I'll be staying for the rest of the time being. So coming down here, it was probably about a 3-hour drive from where I live. More like 4 hours because I took some stops along the way. I started with my first stop at a bakery / deli market just in a small town called Zurich, Ontario. And I bought a few items. I will show that to you later. And then I also took my time and stopped in a coffee shop in Harriston, which is about maybe 10 minutes from here. I figured, you know what, I wasn't sure about what was going on with the cabin and stuff, and I really didn't want to sit in my car for the whole time. So I went to this coffee shop, and it was very cute. Again, I can show you some pictures of that later on, but it was set up in an old post office. Harriston, very historic town, a lot of thrift shops, some antique shops. So I did a little bit of wandering around, and then I worked my way back here to the farm. So right now I'm in the cabin. I've got my book, and I've got my heated blanket, and I'll give you a little tour of the cabin. Now, keeping in mind that they weren't necessarily prepared for anybody to be staying in here. So he did a quick cleanup, which was very much appreciated. Put the extension cord up so I would have power, and good to go. Okay, so this is the cabin that's on the property. Very cute, very comfortable. And then this is what is the selling point, because this is all windows all the way across the back, and it's overlooking the farm. And back in there we have the donkeys. So I haven't fed them yet, haven't been out to see them because it's just too cold, too windy. But, and then back in there is your pond. So I will be exploring all of this tomorrow when it's much better weather, and enjoying it Monday as well. I'm here for 2 nights, 3 days, 2 nights. Well, good morning, everybody. That was quite the night. I stayed in the cabin. Very windy, very rainy. So I stayed sheltered in there till about maybe 9 o'clock or so. And then I hunkered down in my car. I was warm enough. It was good. Now, I got up this morning, looked out, and it's gray again. It was drizzling a little bit, but nothing major. Now it's stopped, so I decided to move my car back to my actual site. So I'm sitting here, just taking a minute, because I've had to set everything up and bring the table stuff out and the stove and all that stuff. So I am getting a bit hungry, but I am going to have my tea first, and then I'll be making breakfast. Okay, so I haven't got my table out yet, so I'm just going to set this down here, but I kind of wanted to get at my pancakes before so it didn't do too badly. Let's see what they taste like. Yep, they're cooked. That's good. I did well. So I'm in my screen tent having my breakfast, because when I first pulled up, the mosquitoes just came out like crazy. So I sprayed myself down, put this tent up, and now I'm not really seeing the mosquitoes. Of course, always seems to happen. But I'll give you a tour of the campsite. But right now I'm overlooking, there's a field off to this side, and then just some beautiful deciduous fir trees all the way around. And you can see a big line where the hydro line went, so you could possibly walk down through that way. But I'm looking forward to the trails in the back for sure. So I'm going to give you a tour of my site, the actual site that I booked. So it actually starts, you come in through here off the driveway, and this is one site all the way around. So come down here, set up my picnic table. I've set up my screen tent because I thought it was going to be a little bit buggy. Tucked my car back in there so that I can kind of have the view of the woods when I look out my back window. And you got a fire pit here, so I actually might end up having an afternoon fire. And the thing is, with this place, they supply the firewood for you, which again, it's just some of these things that this Hipcamp offers that a lot of others don't. So you've got that, and then from there you come around here, and up on the hill right in there is an old trailer. Okay, so this is the trailer for our use, and what it's used for is inside is a workable kitchen. Not hot water, but still cold water. I'll give you a look here.
So inside you have a workable sink. I'm not sure about the stove, but or the fridge. I doubt it for that because you need propane, but at least you have a sink. You don't have to bring any wash basins or anything like that. And then back here you have an actual bathroom. Now again, the shower or bathtub wouldn't be working, but you have an actual toilet rather than a porta potty. So the cabin actually has a porta potty, but up here, these campsites, and there's only two, I've got the whole place to myself. So I've got my own bathroom, I got my own sink to wash my dishes, and they actually offered, again, either this one or the cabin to shelter the other day. So can you imagine? Apparently they had a large group of campers in here last weekend and had this whole site. So you could easily get, 5, 6, 7 tents in here with a lot of people. Especially for all the people that are constantly asking about group sites at provincial parks. When you've got something like this, I would say that works much better than a provincial park. But to each their own. Isn't that pretty? So now I'm going to get myself ready. So this is their pond. This is one of the rescue swans. Let's see how close I can get to it. Doesn't seem to be too phased, but very pretty. Be really nice when the sun comes out, hopefully tomorrow. But they have like a little fishing boat here, and then over back in there they got a canoe. I don't know if I would have brought my kayak, if I would have kayaked or not. It would have been a nice little paddle. Oh my goodness, the geese are not happy about me being here. Go. And there's, I don't know if it's a Mr. or Mrs., but that's the rescue swan. They had two of them, but they thought that maybe a fox or something might have gotten to the other one, but he's still surviving. And I guess apparently there are fish in here. There's some bass and catfish and carp. So you could go fishing if you wanted to. Oh. Is this a good thing that he's kind of waddling towards? I don't know. It doesn't seem to be too phased by me. Alright, well, I'm going to go on with my walk. There's a trail. It looks like there's a trail that takes you all the way around. Another world in here. These are the two donkeys, and I brought some treats for them. Oh, look at the little one. Oh, look at the little one. Hello. Oh, you want that one first? There you go. You want one too? Hi. Hi. Whoop, whoop. There we go. Oh. Oh, did I drop? Oh, you dropped that. So this is Oliver and Lily. They're the two rescue donkeys on this farm. Love animals. So this is one of the trails. I think he said they have 3 or 4 different trails across the property. So right in the middle of very tall pines, all kinds of fir trees. And then there's some sort of opening out here, so we'll see what we come out to. This is what I like doing, is walking through woods like these where there's no branches, just a nice soft bed of pine needles. Look up, way up. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. I just came back from a nice walk, and now it's just me, my nice fire, and a good book. Can't beat this. Loving it, love it. So, this is my second night here, sitting by the fire. And when I went to the bakery the other day, Jerry Radar's, I picked up a treat. So, these are cheesecake fritters. So, I'm going to try one. Huge. They're heavy. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to... Oh, they're like a sandwich. Wow, look at that. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Really good. Really, really good. So you've got them kind of cut in half, and then they got cream cheese inside of that. Very fresh. I'll buy them again. Good morning, everybody. This is my last morning here at Sujo Fun Farm. And I just thought I would talk about Sujo Fun Farm before I left. Originally I was going to make a big breakfast and spend a lot of time and take my time. I'm not going to rush leaving, but I'm not going to stick around because this is another day at this point with no sun, gray, kind of cool. And I was so blessed last year to have all 3 of my trips where there was sun every time. And it's amazing what a difference that makes when you're on a solo road trip. But again, it's not something obviously you can't control. And I knew this coming in, and I prepared myself. I have my boots, and I have my rain tarps, and I talked to the people ahead of time and had a good place to shelter when the weather was really bad the first night, the first day. So yeah, I'm just thinking I'm going to take my time going home. Normally I just like go straight home, might have a quick stop and then get home. But I might just take my time, and I'm thinking this is supposed to eventually clear up and the sun is supposed to come out within a few hours. So I'm thinking hopefully I might run into the sun along my way and maybe, oh, there's a nice bird, come across maybe a conservation area or something to do a bit of a hike. I'm coming through a town called Bayfield, Ontario, and I've come through it many times, but I always love this spot. So you've got your picnic area, so I'm going to sit here and have a little charcuterie board, and then you got this as your outlook. This is Lake Huron, beautiful blue Lake Huron. The temperature's right now probably about 15 degrees, but so pretty. So pretty. I might take a little jaunt down the stairs and maybe take a little walk along the beach. I'll see how I feel after lunch, because this is, and something that's on a flat path that I can get into running shoes instead of these boots. The boots have come in handy, but man, oh man, they kill you across the calf when they keep rubbing. It's not the nicest feeling to live in them for 3 days. But anyways, so back to Sujo Fun Farm. Just right off the top of my head, just as I said, a bird flew by. I have had my Merlin app going all the time, and just for the number of bird songs that I've never heard before. And last night I was sitting here and I could kind of hear like a different kind of clucking sound, and it was coming from over the pond way. So I set my Merlin, and it said that it was a green crane. So I went over and I looked and I didn't see anything, and of course the noise stopped. So but later on that night I was talking to my husband, and I told him about the green crane and that I didn't see him, and I had my moonroof open, and what flew over top of me was the crane. So I did see him, but not as close as I would have liked to. But anyways, yes, lots of birds. It's so treed here. A lot of pine, a lot of fir, a lot of evergreen, a lot of apple trees. Yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to film it, but there's an apple tree right here, and it's in bloom, and I could hear this buzzing sound, and I knew right away what it was. And I looked up, and there it was, this blue hummingbird. By the time I got my camera out, it was gone. So this is called Sujo Fun Farm. So when you first come in, it's got two campsites and a cabin. So your first site is where I'm staying. So you come off the driveway and it's right here. The house is on the other side of the driveway, but there's a line of trees, and then the trailer that I use for the kitchen and the bathroom. So that blocks off your house. Now that being said, you do have a road here. So as you can hear, somebody just went by. It's a gravel road, but it's not busy at all. I think I've heard, maybe 3 or 4 cars throughout the whole day go by. So it's not a distraction. And there's a good line of trees there for sight line as well. So your next campsite is further down the hill on another side of a line of trees. And then you continue down the laneway farther towards the back of the property, and then that's where the cabin is. And then you continue past that, and that's where all the forested area is, and some of your walking trails are along there. You first come into the opposite side of the driveway to the right is a huge pond. It's 4 acres. It's got like a little island in the middle, and this is where they keep their rescue swan. it's fenced off, so sometimes they'll let the donkeys into there. But there is a gate that you can go through, and there is a path that you can walk all the way around the pond. Fairly close to the swan. It doesn't seem to be very fazed by human people around. And there was a handful of Canada geese. And at one point I came across, there was 2 families of them, 2 moms and dads and 2 babies. So I've got some good footage of that. It says that this is a natural on a migratory path. So he said during migration, that pond could get close to 200 Canada geese. And he said when they all take off at once, when they're spooked or something, he said it just sounds like thunder. I thought that was pretty cool. So then past the pond, that's another gated area, and then that's where they have the bigger rescue animals. So right now they just have the 2 donkeys. Again, I have footage of that. They have a little mini donkey and a full-size donkey, and they're very happy for treats. So I just brought a bag of carrots, but they do supply if you wanted to. They have some apples or carrots to feed. So now I'm up. I'm having my tea, and again, I don't really think that I'm going to do the big breakfast that I was going to do. I think I'll probably just stick with some yogurt and cereal bar and maybe and that's going to be my breakfast sandwich. Yummy. I love this area. Lots of rolling hills. So it had, for a couple of nights, some walking paths, and I think had there been sun, I probably would have brought my chair down by the pond and sat there for a while. And although, looking out kind of in the distance right now, it looks like it might be clearing up a little bit. So I'm waffling. That's me, waffler. So if you have a group of people or family, a single person like myself, I think for me 2 nights would be enough, unless, if I were to take a drive into Harriston and do a little bit more time in town. And but there is a good amount of places to walk, and it is a comfortable space. It is a nice green space, and it's very lovely. But yeah, Sujo Fun Farm, you did a good job. You did a good job on bringing people or having people on this property and making them feel comfortable, and having the spots for them to be camping in and have beauty all around them. Thank you. So now the sun has come out. I ended up changing my mind and had my full breakfast, and I'm now all packed up and ready to go. And yeah, I think I'm just going to still go ahead, take my time going home, and see what happens on the road. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.